Good morning. Today we are going to talk about production possibilities frontier. Or known as BPF. Let's assume that you have a fixed amount of resources and you would like to distribute these resources between the production of two different commodities. Say, for example, Pepsi and the chocolate. So if you are going to use all your resources to produce Pepsi, so you can produce 15 cans of Pepsi and 0 chocolate. And if you are going to devote all our resources to the production of a chocolate, you can produce 5 chocolate and 0 Pepsi. Or different combinations, 1 and 14, 2 and 12, 3 and 9, 4 and 5. So these are different combinations of Pepsi and the chocolate that can be produced using a fixed or a given amount of resource. So we can define BPF as BPF shows different combinations of two commodities that can be produced using a given amount of resource. BPF has a number of assumptions. Number one, that we are going to produce two commodities. Just two commodities. Number two, resources are fixed. Which means that you have a fixed amount of resources. This amount, if there is any change in this amount of resources, so you can produce more or less. Number three, technology is fixed. Technology used in the production is fixed. Now we would like to draw the BPF using the data given in the last schedule. Using this data, we are going to draw the BPF. First, we have to draw using a scale, which means that we have to draw using equal distances. Here, chocolate, for example, and here's Pepsi. Chocolate from 0 to 5 and Pepsi from 0 to 15. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is 0. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. So the first combination is 15 Pepsi and 0 chocolate. 0 chocolate and 15 Pepsi. So this is number A. Number B. 1 chocolate and 14 Pepsi. 1 and 14. This is combination number B. 2 and 12. 2 and 12. This is C. 3 and 9. 3 and 9. This is D. 4 and 5. and this is E, and finally 0 and 5, this is F. Now we are going to connect these points together. This is PPF. PPF is like a boundary between what can be produced and what cannot be produced. So this area can be produced, and outside this area cannot be produced. So PPF illustrates the idea of scarcity. PPF shows also the idea of trade-off. What's meant by trade-off? Trade-off means that if you would like to increase Pepsi, you have to give up chocolate and vice versa. So if you would like to increase the production of a chocolate from C1 to C2, you have to decrease production of Pepsi from B1 to B2, and vice versa. Now we would like to talk about PPF in terms of two different points of view. Number one, with respect to production, whether different combinations inside and along and outside the curve can be produced or not. And number two, with respect to efficiency, whether different combinations are efficient or inefficient. Number one, with respect to production. Point A is inside PPF. With respect to production, do we have enough resources to produce it or not? Yes, we have enough resources to produce combination A. So, point inside PPF is known as attainable. Attainable means that you have enough resources to produce. What about point B? Point B is along the curve or on the curve. So point along or on the curve is attainable. You have enough resources to produce, and this is the maximum amount that can be produced using the available resources. What about point C, which is outside PPF? Point C is unattainable, which means that you do not have resources to produce this combination. So in terms of production, point inside is attainable, point along is attainable, point outside is unattainable. What about efficiency? When we are going to talk about efficiency, we are going to talk about waste. Do we have any waste in resources if you are going to produce this combination or not? Do we have any unused resources? So in case of inside PPF, point inside, just like point A, our resources are not fully utilized. This means that this combination is inefficient. What about point B? Point B, which is a point along or on the curve, in this case, all our resources are fully utilized. Fully utilized, so the point is efficient. And we cannot determine whether point outside PPF is efficient or not, as we do not have resources to produce. So when we are going to talk about point inside, so it is attainable and inefficient. Point along is attainable and efficient. Point outside, unattainable. As we said, PPF illustrates the idea of trade-off. If you are going to increase production of a chocolate, you have to give up Pepsi and vice versa. You have to give up Pepsi. By how much? By how much? This is known as opportunity cost. Opportunity cost of unit equals what you give up over what you get. So returning back to our example, so what is the opportunity cost of increasing production of chocolate? So we have to calculate opportunity cost along the curve, or if it's determined, if you are going to increase production from 2 to 3, what is the opportunity cost of increasing production of a chocolate by 1 unit from 2 to 3? So now let's calculate the opportunity cost of a chocolate. Opportunity cost of a chocolate means opportunity cost of increasing production of a chocolate. So as we said, it's calculated as what you give up over what you get. Now you would like to increase production of a chocolate from 0 to 1. So production is going to increase by 1. As a result, you have to give up or to decrease production of Pepsi from 15 to 14. So you have to decrease it by 1 unit. So the opportunity cost is what you give up over what you get, which is 1 over 1, it's 1. Now, you are going to increase production of chocolate from 1 to 2. So production is going to increase by 1 unit. As a result, you have to give up or decrease production of Pepsi from 14 to 12. So production is going to decrease by 2 units. So it is 2 divided by 1, 2. Now you are going to increase production from 2 to 3. So you are going to increase production by 1 unit. As a result, you have to give up production of Pepsi by 3 units. So it is 3 divided by 1, 3. Now you are going to increase production from 3 to 4. So you are going to increase production by 1 unit, and you have to give up 4 units, which is 9 minus 5. So it's 4 divided by 1, 4. And now the last one, you are going to increase production by 1, and you have to give up 5 units. So the opportunity cost is 5. So this is the idea of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the slope of the PPF. Okay, what's the shape of PPF? PPF have two different features or two different shapes, either straight line PPF or concave PPF. PPF can be straight line PPF or concave PPF. This shape is determined by the opportunity cost. If the opportunity cost is increasing, just like the previous example, opportunity cost 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so it's an increasing opportunity cost. So in this case, the PPF will be concave PPF. But now let's calculate opportunity cost for this example. So if you would like to increase production from 0 to 1, you have to give up 2 units. So the opportunity cost is 2 over 1, which is 2. Now you would like to increase production from 1 to 2, so you are going to increase production by 1 unit. As a result, you have to decrease production from 8 to 6, which is 2 units. So it is 2 divided by 1, which is 2. Now you are going to add 1 more unit, so you have to give up 2 units. So it's 2 divided by 1, which is 2. Now you are going to add 1 more unit, so the opportunity cost is 4 divided by 2, minus 2, which is 2. 2 divided by 1, 2. So the opportunity cost in this case is constant. 2, 2, 2, 2. So it's constant opportunity cost. In this case, if you are going to draw the PPF, it's going to be straight line PPF. So the shape of PPF is determined by its slope, which is the opportunity cost, whether it is increasing opportunity cost or constant opportunity cost. Now we are going to relax two of the main assumptions that have been mentioned before. Number one, resources are fixed. Number two, technology is fixed. So what's going to happen if resources are going to increase or there is an improvement in technology? This means that PPF is going to shift. This is the initial situation before the change in technology or resources. Now let's assume that resources are going to increase. As a result, we can produce more of the two commodities. So PPF curve will shift to the right. Shift to the right. If resources is going to decrease, PPF curve will shift to the left. The same with respect to technology. If there is an improvement in technology, so PPF curve will shift to the right. So both of them, in both cases, increase or improvement in technology, PPF will shift to the right. This is the end of our lecture today. Thank you. See you next week.